Welcome to the Multiply Your Success podcast, where each week we help growth-minded entrepreneurs and franchise leaders take the next step in their expansion journey. I'm your host, Tom Dufour, CEO of Big Sky Franchise Team. And as we open today, I'm wondering if you have ever used a joint venture to grow your business, or maybe even taking a step back and wondering if you're familiar with what a joint venture happens to be. And our guest today is Attram, and he shares with us how he has used joint ventures to generate more than $25 million in revenue for his business over the last few years, and how you can use this strategy to grow your company as well. Now, Mac is the founder and CEO of MindSpace Coaching, a leading business growth expert, and he's widely regarded as one of the most sought-after business coaches and trainers for entrepreneurs. He shares with us how he went from learning from people like Tony Robbins and Robert Kiyosaki to presenting with these people on the same stage. He's also a multi-award-winning business coach and author, and he's been featured as an expert advisor on numerous popular TV shows, newspapers, magazines, and so on. And a key piece here, he was previously awarded as the Executive Coach of the Year in the United Kingdom. So let's go ahead and jump into my interview with Attram.
First of all, Tom, thank you for inviting me and allowing me to be on your podcast here. Amazing show. And my company name is MindSpace Coaching. MindSpace Coaching. And my title, you can call me principal, you can call me head business coach, master business coach, you can call me CEO, you can call me founder.
Well, perfect. Well, I'd love to talk just by way of starting. One of the things that caught my eye when we were first connected together is the concept of joint ventures and using joint ventures to grow businesses. And so I work every day with successful entrepreneurs that are growing. We help them franchise. I'm not quite as familiar with joint venture. So I was hoping you might be able to share and just start by explaining what a joint venture is and go from there.
Awesome. That's a great question. I think that's a great place to start there, Tom. So the technical term, some people know joint ventures as strategic alliances or collaborations. It's very different from an affiliate. It's not affiliate system. This is a joint venture. It's a strategically thing that you do. The technical term is a win-win strategic partnership between two or more people who agree to leverage, the key word here is leverage, Tom, each other's resources in order to make more money or to save more money. For me, the easiest way to explain it, for what I have found is joint ventures is the fastest, most lucrative, and least competitive form of marketing by none. And so imagine that someone already has your audience or they have your ideal clients. And they say, hey, can you give them some value? And you give them some value and then they want more from you and they want to buy from you. That's a perfect situation. You haven't had to hustle on social media. You haven't had to slide into people's DMs. You haven't had to do any of that stuff. Nothing wrong with that. You haven't had to email and keep emailing. Nothing wrong with that. If it works, great. But a situation where someone's ready to promote you, zero cost marketing to you, and full benefit for you and for your partner.
How do you see this being different from, say, like a referral relationship or something you had mentioned, maybe some difference? So talk through how those are actually different, I guess.
Sure, yeah. I mean, there are different ways to market, okay? There are hundreds of ways to market. And some people confuse joint venture partnerships with affiliate schemes. And an affiliate scheme is basically where someone has a product or service, you simply promote it to your list, to your people, and they buy that thing and you get a commission, right? That's you promoting someone else's product or service. A referral scheme is basically someone, there's usually no commission involved, where somebody has a great product, and most people do it all the time. Hey, you're going to the cinema? You want to check out this particular movie? Or, oh, you're looking for a plumber? you want to speak to this person, right? And referral schemes can be a fully systemized thing strategically, or it can be just loose. A strategic referral scheme might be, maybe I'm a financial advisor, and every time I finish advising one particular client, I ask them, hey, by the way, do you know anybody else who would benefit from my service? Why do I do that? Because it's part of my strategy. It's part of my marketing to see where I'm going to get these other clients from. Well, joint ventures work slightly different. A joint venture could be, Tom, great guy. I don't know Tom, but I know he does some great work. And I know he serves his audience and he serves his clients in a great way. And he offers something slightly different from what I do. But guess what? We have the same type of clients. So I approach Tom and say, hey, Tom, have you ever thought about telling your clients about this because it will improve their life or it'll improve their business? Tom thinks about it. Oh, I've never thought about that. How will it work? So you explain to Tom, this is what we can do. And Tom, it's not going to cost you anything, but I'm going to get all these things set up. We can do some email marketing to them, or I can speak to your audience. We can do something. Tom obliges. So we go ahead and that person then speaks to Tom's audience or provides something of value to Tom's audience. They love it so much, they purchase further things from this person. But there's a strategic agreement between Tom and this person that says, hey, by the way, anyone who buys, I get a commission, right? Yes, you do. You get a commission or whatever you agree, 10%, 20%, 100% in some cases. So this is a strategic alliance. Now, imagine so some people say, but I'm only a small business. I don't do, how do I do strategic joint ventures? Now, imagine a yoga instructor and let's say a restaurant in the same local area, a yoga instructor and a restaurant. And you might think, well, there is no synergy. Well, they have some clients. What joint venture could they do? Now, joint venture is about thinking creatively and thinking, well, could I help that yoga instructor? Can I help the restaurateur's clients? Possibly. How can we do that? Maybe through, maybe they give me some coupons and vouchers and I share it to my clients. Maybe I give them coupons and vouchers and they share it with their clients. It's a very straightforward strategic alliance, very simple. No money is exchanged, but both are marketing on behalf of each other. But the key difference is, what I say to people is, if you're going to do a joint venture, make sure you get everything in writing, because that's where things can go wrong. Get it in writing. So I hope I've explained what the differences are here.
Yeah, no, that's helpful. And you started answering, I think, a question I had, which is what's a key, or what are some of the tips or suggestions you'd have to create a successful joint venture?
Yeah, let me elaborate furthermore then. One of some of the things we teach when we teach people to use joint ventures is, the first step, if you want to do joint ventures, is to think, who already has my ideal clients? Which organization? Which influencer? Which person? And once you have established that, then the next step is to get into a conversation with them somehow. And just accord your conversation and at some point present what you're thinking. Because you would have done some research on them, you'd have done some research on their products and services, and there may be an element that they're not giving to their clients, but you may have something that could serve their clients. And so once you bring that up in that conversation, they'll think about it, and eventually they'll say yes. Why would they say yes? Because they can see how they can make money from what they already have. It's not going to cost them any more. It's not going to cost them any more in marketing or any other costs. But here's a situation where they can both win. And above all there, Tom, their clients will appreciate it, because the client didn't remember, if that is you, Tom, and your clients trust you and you're their trusted advisor, and you bring them something that improves their lives, changes their lives, or changes their business, or changes their health, or changes their relationships for the better, They're going to be grateful and thankful that you brought this other expert to come and help me. Thank you for thinking about me, Tom. Right?
Yeah.
So from there, you've got to then put things in writing, get an agreement. We give our clients agreements and contracts to make sure both parties sign so both parties know how they're both going to benefit.
One of the things I'd love for you to talk about is some of the books you've produced and written. So you're an author, you do all kinds of speaking and engagements that you're involved with. So I'd love for you to pick one of your books to talk about for our audience and how it can help them, whether it's with joint ventures or just growing in general.
Sure, yeah. I will preface it with this. For the past 17 years, I've trained and coached hundreds of thousands of people in over 50 countries around the world. I think in every continent apart from one. And I teach them how to grow their business, how to grow their wealth, and how to grow themselves at a personal development level. My 3 books are best-selling books. They're all available on Amazon. My latest book is called The Millionaire Moment. And The Millionaire Moment is about my rags to riches story, if you like, because there was a point in my life not too long ago when I was totally broke, over $100,000 in debt, struggling. And thank goodness I had some help and I got some coaching. I managed to turn my struggling business around, and I sold that business and moved forward. So that book it's all about how our thoughts shape our financial destiny. If you have stinking thinking, you'll have stinking money, and it just won't work. So that book, The Millionaire Moment, talks about, well, actually gives scientific-based facts on how you can utilize your mind to create the kind of wealth that you want to create, or the life that you want to create. The book I wrote before, so that book was written in 2020 in the pandemic when I was, what do I do now? I can't travel, I can't teach. Let me write another book. The book before that was written in 2016, Face It and Fix It. It's all about how to turn around your struggling business to make it more successful. And then the 2 books before that are all personal development books, how to really soar to further success by being your unique self. You're not like anybody else on this planet. You are you. So how do you utilize your authentic self to create a life that you desire and that you deserve? Those are the books.
Mac, this is a great time to transition here, just to ask you the same 4 questions we ask every guest before they go. And the first question is, have you had a miss or 2 in your career and something you learned from it?
Yeah, definitely. I've had many misses. And one of them I mentioned earlier on. There was a time when for me to talk about it, it's quite hurtful, because there was a time in my life when I found myself totally broke, over 100 grand in debt. At the time, my wife was pregnant with our 2nd child. And a few short years had gone by where I had hardly seen much of our first child. And I was only newly married. And I ended up working 16, 17, 18 hours a day because my business wasn't working. My 2 business partners had done some naughty stuff, stolen a lot of money. It was in a mess. So now I'm working double hours to make sure I can pay our staff, pay my way, and look after my family. And so for me, that was a low point where everything was just coming down on me. And it was one evening driving home from work. 5 minutes from my home, I stopped at this shopping mall car park, and I sat there 5 minutes from my house. I didn't want to go home that evening. And I sat there with my hands on the wheel, sobbing, feeling sorry for myself, thinking, I'm such a failure. I'm such a failure. I'm failing my family. I'm failing my wife. This is not the life I wanted for myself. So that for me was a big miss, because in that moment I realized that I have to do something different. And so I went on this journey of self-discovery, reading books, going on, listening to amazing, we didn't have podcasts then many years ago, but I listened to teleseminars, great people like Tom and these kind of people that were giving great information out there. And I started to transform my life. And within 2 years, fixed my business, sold my business, and continued onward and upward, if that answers your question.
It does. Yeah, that's great. Well, and then the flip side of that is we ask, have you had a make or 2? So let's talk about some highlights.
Yeah, some highlights is, you know, because of the work because I transformed my life and I started helping people one-on-one, and I started people asked me to help them. In the end, I thought, well, instead of speaking to people one-on-one, why don't I just do little workshops? So I do workshops, 5 people, 10 people, 15 people in the room, and eventually it became thousands of people in the room, and traveling around the world helping people. So the highlights have been, I'll give you this, Tom. I don't know if you've heard of experts and teachers like Robert Kiyosaki, Anthony Robbins, Les Brown. These are all people I studied from. So the highlights were, come 2010, 2011, 2012, I started traveling around the world with these people on the same stages, teaching what I was teaching around business and wealth. These are people I studied from. Now they became my friends, and they were my mentors. They still are, but they also became my friends. So those are great highlights, that wherever you are in your life, wherever you're struggling with right now, that adversity can propel you to more success if you get support, if you get the resources, if you get the help. That's why I love coaching other people.
Oh, wonderful, wonderful. Well, let's talk about a multiplier. It's a favorite question here on the show, and something you've used to multiply your personal growth, your development, your business growth. Would you mind sharing?
Sure, yeah, definitely. From a business point of view, the multiplier for me, the biggest thing, bar none, has been the ability to do joint ventures. The ability to joint venture with other people who already have my ideal clients that I can add value to, and they send me a ton of clients and we make money together. That has been the biggest change. And give you an idea, in the last 8 years alone, my strategic joint venture partners and myself have generated over $25 million in the last 8 years alone, on just joint ventures marketing, nothing else, just on the joint venture side of it. And from a personal development side of it, there was a time in my life when I wasn't studying any books, not going to any seminars, not really listening to other experts. But the multiplier has been, anything that I'm working on, I'm going to go out there and find out who is already doing this and doing it very, very well. So if I want to do a podcast and I hear Tom DeFore is doing this podcast, I want to check Tom out and see why he's so successful. And I'm going to model Tom, not copy, I'm going to model him because he's doing it well. So for me, learning from experts has helped me greatly in the last 17 years.
And the final question, Mac, that we ask every guest is, what does success mean to you?
Wow, that is a great question. You know, many years ago when I was struggling, especially financially, I thought money would be the answer until, you know, I got that handle, financial freedom, millions, all that kind of stuff. Then I started realizing, for me, success is, you know, I didn't say it, but I've been married to my wife now. We've been married for 22 years, 3 children. And so success for me means being happy and fulfilled every single day. And it's not about money. It's about relationships. For me, it's about relationships in business, relationships in life, how well I build those relationships for the future. That's what success means to me, because we can't live life in unison, alone, in the bush, behind a forest. We need other people. And so for me, building great relationships is success.
Well, Mac, as we bring this to a close, is there anything you were hoping to share or get across that you haven't had a chance to yet?
Oh, great question. Yeah, for those who, you know, if anything I've said resonates with you and you want to check what I'm doing, go to www.macattram.com. That's MACATTRAM.com. And I've got some free resources there. There is a quiz that'll take you 3 minutes. It's a free quiz, but it'll tell you, if you run a business, it'll tell you where you may be struggling in your business and what you can do about it. And, you know, or check me out on any of my socials. The same again, at Mac Attram. I'm on all the socials, the Facebook, the LinkedIn, the Instagram. So yeah, reach out. Let me know how I can support you.
Mac, thank you so much for a fantastic interview. And let's go ahead and jump into today's 3 key takeaways. So takeaway number 1 is just what a joint venture is and this idea of this strategic alliance. And Mac defined a joint venture as a win-win strategic partnership between 2 or more people who agree to leverage each other's resources to make more money or save more money. And as you know, here on the Multiply Your Success podcast, we love a win-win. Takeaway number 2 is when he gave some tips for creating a successful joint venture. He said, think about or find companies or organizations that already have your ideal customer or working with them. He said, then start a conversation. 3, present your ideas. Number 4, people will eventually say yes because it's a win-win for them too. And number 5, make sure you get an agreement in place. Make sure that's documented. How is the relationship going to work? And takeaway number 3 is I love how Max shared how he went from learning from people like Tony Robbins and Robert Kiyosaki, some of these very famous personal development and coaching experts, to now being on the same stage with them and being personal friends with them and doing workshops all over the world with them. So I thought that was just a really cool takeaway. So you never know what might come your way and as you continue to grow yourself. And now it's time for today's win-win. So today's win-win, as you probably would have guessed it, is creating a joint venture and strategic partnership in your business. And certainly the whole concept here is win-win. So it's going to be a win for you, a win for your joint venture partner, a win for your customers, all the folks involved. It's a beautiful relationship there. And so as we bring this podcast to a close, I'm wondering if there's a joint venture that might just be worth your while, that's maybe right under your nose or right in front of you that you didn't see before. So the takeaway here from today's win-win is to think about that. Where could that potential joint venture be? Maybe take 5 minutes, 10 minutes on your next car ride or walk around the block and just think about that. And that's the episode today, folks. Please make sure you subscribe to the podcast and give us a review. And remember, if you or anyone you know might be ready to franchise their business or take their franchise company to the next level, please connect with us at bigskyfranchiseteam.com. Thanks for tuning in, and we look forward to having you back next week.